Okay, Shannon, can you look at that little agenda and see if there's anything else that do you have any questions really quick? We basically have about 15 minutes if we want to kind of wrap up the rest of the day. What else would you like to do or see, or do you want to see a dog and pony show, or do you want to, what's this? Like, we don't really have time to dip into huge new areas.
It's all good. We've covered a lot. We've done a lot. I feel a lot more comfortable with this look, that bottom end of that.
Okay, great, great.
What does REI stand for?
Good question, good question. REI is actually tied right here to expense receipts. Now, Mark, I'm going to switch from my highlighter to my pen so that you can see it, okay? Yep, and what color is your favorite color?
Anything but yellow.
Okay, we're going to go light blue. I think you'll be able to see it, okay? So, you're asking, what is an REI, okay? Well, what it is it's short for a reimbursement. So say a user pays for something, and you physically want to say, hey, I already want that to sign up here on my P&L or my balance sheet, depending on what's going on. I spent my physical money, but it still needs to be owed back to me, okay? So technically, it's a miniature portion of this as well, because even though it's not a vendor, I actually owe a user for something that they spent money on.
So when I fill my gas tank in a state car and submit my documentation, that's a reimbursement.
Correct. So this whole thing, a reimbursement and splits and all this kind of stuff, it's all in this little category right here, dealing kind of with the expense side of things, which eventually, once we're done with this, this cascades its information to the P&L and or balance sheet. Okay? Everything is connected. Everything is multiple connected.
Part and payroll too, probably.
REIs could be either a vendor did something and I have to pay a vendor back, or a user did something and I have to pay the user back. Payroll is also included in kind of this whole payment section of
what's reimbursements usually stay out of payroll because it gets confusing for people to see that it's hard to explain a reimbursement.
Correct.
In a payroll scenario. It won't be. They won't ever do me a reimbursement generally as part of my normal monthly payroll check.
Correct. It's better practices to keep it separated. You can keep it very easy. But basically, what it is, you'll end up creating an expense receipt for what the item was, okay, and then eventually you have to pay it back off. Maybe what I can do right here that might be kind of fun, and I think it'll actually be very, very, very beneficial, is actually describe that same scenario using some plates, okay? So we're going to describe the same scenario. Watch this right here, okay? I don't know if you guys have seen any of this documentation or not. I'm going to go right here and just show you a small little flyer that we do inside of Adilas, and it kind of talks about objects. And I want to show you, it's called System Players. It's on the second page. There's a little diagram. Okay, here's a plate with a bunch of cups on it, okay? So we're talking objects. What we're going to do is we're going to go like this. Madeline, I tied it to Madeline. This is Madeline, and this is her expense. And she bought some gas. Let's just say that this is the gas that she bought for that particular thing. She even did her own payment, which actually satisfied that whole thing, okay? And maybe she does another one. She goes another day and does the exact same thing. Madeline got some more fuel. She paid for it. These are all REIs, okay? Reimbursements. Well, guess what? How am I going to pay that off? I'm going to say, I'm the company. I'm going to create a company one that's going to basically hold hands with those guys and pay it off. So I'm going to create the company one to pay that back off, and I'm adding 2 line items because it's basically going to be paying off a sub, and then I'm going to cut 1 check back to Madeline. See how there's a bunch of different objects? Then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to virtually say, because this one's special, this one is going to end up paying off this one and this one. You can't do that in a spreadsheet.
Right.
Okay, you literally can't. But inside of Atlas, you could do that because it's just objects. Each object exists. You start running it over time, and then you start connecting it to whatever else needs to happen. You literally, it breaks every mold you've ever seen because you're literally building at this object and relationship level.
So you will have entered the expense reports, 2 separate expense reports, different dates.
Mhm.
When you pay it, you're
So it's going to start aging it. It's going to start aging it. Okay. It shows up in your payables because it's like, hey, we still owe Madeline for this. She spent money, but it's already hitting the P&L. Okay. But it's still sitting there aging and aging and aging. And when I'm ready, I'm like, you know what? Looks like I owe Madeline $500. Click, 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 click. Pay. One check. Write it. And behind the scenes, what it does is it says, okay, go satisfy all of those guys. You're no longer payable. Or whatever needs to happen. You walk out, you're happy, you just got your $500. They've got the perfect trail, and maybe they even require you to scan your receipts in and all this kind of stuff so they can see, show me how much it was for your gas. It was $32 this day and $500, whatever. But like, you have all this documentation. I'm going to roll it all together just like this. In one stacked package, it goes out with one check cut to you. Okay? And so all of a sudden it's like, wow, sweet, that was easy. And then you just go on to the next. But that particular life cycle, you had 3 different objects, okay? Day 1, day 2, and then the final payment that actually encompassed day 1 and day 2. It's fun. It starts getting into a whole object level. That's a good question. That was a good question about REI. Give me another scenario, and here's what I wanted to show you, okay? So this particular little thing, this is how we do objects. And the reason that we do this is because it allows you to kind of see some stuff that happens, okay? What's something that we did earlier today? Madeline, I'm going to call on you. Just give me any scenario that we did. I'm going to show you how it's built using cups and plates and fun stuff like this. Whatever it might be. Are we doing quotes or invoices? Are we doing POs?
No, let's go POs.
Great, great, great. Give me the scenario.
Let's do Cheryl's where we have an open PO.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was an invoice. Sorry.
You know, that's okay.
Let's go back to invoice and
Okay.
do the open where multiple times she went back to get more and more herbs and we just kept it open as she processed.
Perfect, perfect. You're going to see the scenario we just went through on REI.
Exactly like the REI scenario.
Why don't you tell me what we did? Let's say that.
I probably should pick
No,
something
no.
else.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I want you to see.
So you got Cheryl the plate.
Okay, Cheryl.
And
She's
she
an
had
invoice.
Day 1 purchase, day 2 purchase.
And she didn't pay, right?
She didn't pay.
But we need to record that. She had a 0 payment. Even though,
Okay.
we have to record all of that. Okay, that's day 1. Day 2, we have Cheryl. She's invoice. She got her items, 0 payment.
Didn't pay.
Okay, no problem. It's running over time, and all of a sudden she comes back.
She comes back.
Okay.
She buys some more.
Okay.
And she pays off everything the 3rd time.
Okay, so right here, she got Cheryl, some more items. She did this, so Cheryl, items, and now she paid, but because she paid,
all of them.
okay, did we do it, what we do, we can't say this one can't cover all of that, but we could technically say, hey, I'll put this one on account as well. Okay, so everything is on account.
Everything's on account, which is what you would have done, because you wouldn't change it into account or sale right then.
Okay, so
technically went on account, then they totaled it.
okay, so I now have a different report that's virtually going like this. Cheryl, what do you owe? Oh, looks like 40, 75, and that's $250. Okay, so it's sitting on the background. We're technically, there's just 3 objects that exist, but it's tied to Cheryl because she's that main customer. So we're saying, Cheryl, what do you owe me? Oh, it looks like I have 3 that I haven't paid for. Okay? So if she gets a little thing, what we do in this virtual sense is we're saying, okay, how much did you have? I'll help you distribute that. Okay? So instead of actually creating a new one to stack all of that on, we virtually say, okay, cool, I know it's just going to be applied. $250, whatever it's going to do, and it's going to go 40 for you, 37 for you, and the remainder to you. Okay? All of a sudden, these are totally happy. They go away. And if you say, Cheryl, what do you owe me? It's nothing, okay? But all that money, all those new payments, they're sitting in a new tent saying, would you like to deposit me? Oh yeah, I sure would. Like the whole thing, this is how we play. It's literally like, this is why we call it kind of world building and that kind of stuff.
But how come you just didn't, on the 4th day when she comes back and she's going to pay everything, why didn't you just say, oh, she's going to pay this cup and this cup and then start stacking them up, cup.
Because they're all in the system.
Okay.
So what he's
They
saying
exist
is
in smaller
Alice can
pieces.
go in, yeah. Alice can go in and trace all these links, all these objects together via Cheryl. She's the link.
She's the link.
But it's got all these things, so I don't have to go back through my silly Excel spreadsheet and go, gosh, I remember she was here.
For how long?
For how long, and figure out where they are.
Because they're all tied to Cheryl, I'm virtually able to watch from the outside and say, here's what I do. Guess what? I don't even hold the value that Cheryl owes in memory. If you want to look at Cheryl, I quickly say, go check Cheryl. Like, it's just in time. It's just in time, if that makes sense. She's got 4 invoices. How many payments does she have? What's the math? Looks like she owes $20. It's just in time. But if you actually were to say, hey, show me everything that everybody owes, okay, cool, I'll do a report. Here's all the different customers that I have, okay? And they might each have their own little pile, and then we virtually say, what do you owe? What do you owe? What do you owe? And because of processing power, like even what Mark was saying, how things are just speeding up and up and up, we do just-in-time calculations. So Cheryl never, ever, ever gets the value of $20 written to her. But we can virtually say, how many does she have? What's the payments? Where's it at? What's over time? Oh, did we want to pretend that we're virtually going back in time? Okay, she hadn't even purchased these. These don't even count anymore. Even though they're still in the system, we virtually go back in time and say, oh, at this time she was fully paid. Like, can you see how you can kind of roll things over time? It's amazing. That's how we can play like we play. Because we virtually don't record and move and chart of accounts. And like, we're doing accounting, but we're basically saying, if I've got the whole story right here, and I can do the math on the fly at the speed of computers, and I'm tracking it through all these different checkpoints, what would you like to see? When would you like to do that? Like, so if I back up time, even before she did that invoice, guess what happens? I'm now looking, and I say, Cheryl, she still exists as a customer. What do you owe? Man, I won't even see anything. So it's a big old fat goose egg. But as I roll it forward or backwards or whatever, I can virtually flex that without even changing a single thing. It's just-in-time calculations.
Because on paper, we get to sort back through piles and piles of paper.
Yep,
and
we don't
come up with the same answer. It takes you forever.
Okay, so that was kind of fun, but just so you know, we love to play in this level, but I hope you can kind of see, like, oh my goodness, it totally breaks tradition in huge ways. It's because you're physically using an object. And the reason I use plates and cups is I can stack and mix and blend it, and I can say, did I add touch fit? How many system histories did I have to record? How many payments were recorded with that? Oh, they split payments. Oh, no problem. Okay, how many line items? Wow, huge invoice. Like, it's going to flex. Versus a spreadsheet is similar to this. I know that these are kind of object lessons, but watch this. Here is your handy-dandy spreadsheet. Rows, columns, okay? You're locked into this, okay? Every single time I want to make a new one, guess what I have to do? Here's your object, fill as many spots as you want. Here's the next one, fill as many spots as you want. But guess what I have to do? I have to record all this data every single time because it's static, okay? But if I have an object and I can start connecting and doing all this kind of stuff, you can totally play differently. You don't have to have this by this by this, and then you're limited. What happens if you actually added more items than this? Say this was how many line items you allowed, and normally your customers get about 5, but say you get somebody in special, normally that's all you use, and they're like, oh my goodness, this person has 50 line items. I would technically probably have to do 10 invoices for that person in order to do it if it was a static type thing. That would be a pain for the person. Okay, just a second, let me do this. I got to make a new invoice. Oh, I got to make a new invoice. Like, they'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm never coming back here again. But if you do an object, watch this. You go like this. One object tied to Cheryl. How many objects would you like? Like, literally, you can see that stack just going way, way, way up. Like, it doesn't make a bit of difference. If your normal is 5, great, knock yourself out, okay? But if all of a sudden you get a big one, it just flows right through. Piece of cake. The difference is static. Static
No boundaries.
versus dynamic. It
So-
literally changes everything.
Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at the, we have 47 invoice results here.
Okay, so that's 47 little plates carrying their own little pieces of data.
But it doesn't tell me what the total is.
Sure does.
Well, it's got them out.
Watch this.
Oh, that's each individual.
Watch this right here.
You mean
Invoice homepage.
Total, yeah.
Okay, check this out. $32,000.
Okay, how'd you do that?
I'm at the invoice homepage. It automatically added it up for me. And it'll, so
That's the
new
total
sales.
of all invoices. It's just at the top of the column.
Okay, can I show you something else that's kind of cool? Watch this. Home, customers. What if I actually wanted to say, show me all of my customers and what their totals are? So, BB Company has 3 for a total of 7.5. They currently have paid this. They still owe me 500. Okay, like this is just-in-time math that we were talking about. Let's find Cheryl Moore. Cheryl has 10. She had close to $700. She's paid the whole thing. She's clear. Okay.
Home customers. what
And
is
then
your-
what do you-
Okay, no problem. This link is on probably 7 different pages. It's a little link right here. It says customer sales totals.
We got it.
Click. Okay, you can go right to the person. You can go right to their details. You can go right to whatever. So this isn't even your receivables page. This is just a report. Just, hey, cool, let's grab it. Once all data is live and searchable, when you start thinking in that way and thinking objects over time, it could potentially blow your mind, but that is literally what we do and how we track things. The reason we are able to break some of these boundaries and kind of mix and blend all these different pieces is because we play at an object level. Everything is dynamic, whether it's settings, whether it's permissions, whether it's size of the objects, whether it's naming conventions, whether it's relationships, world building. You're literally, it's no longer a software application. This is literally,
So what are you guys using, Linux?
I use a laptop and
I mean for your backend program.
we have some pretty big servers that we're playing with, which is kind
So
of
you're
fun.
using the OOP, which is the object-oriented programming.
Absolutely, absolutely. We actually use a simple language called Adobe Cult Fusion. It's called scripting language, and we use a MySQL database, and we just play on the web.
Adding on the amount of server space, huh?
Sure. So all the data that we have, like you're going to freak out if you hear this. Say I have 100 companies that are using Adilas. Some of them have been using it for close to 10 years. How big do you think that database is?
Probably running about 3 terabytes space.
What if I told you that entire amount of data was under 5 gigabytes? Would you believe me?
Serious?
Would you believe me?
No, you're blowing smoke now.
No, I kid you
Under
not.
5 gig?
I kid you not.
Well, they must not be using it very much then.
What if it's just really designed in such a simple way that it only records what it needs to? And it's not trying to do like this muffin tin in a static environment. What if it's like, okay, what's your customer? Oh, what's your this? Oh, you're going to play like that? No problem. I'll just record this little piece. But if I have more, I'll play more. If I don't,
What about your 10 years worth of data?
it's all there.
For heaven's sake.
It's all there.
5 gig.
I kid you not. Okay, there's about 200 tables that store all of this data, and then it's just organized, and we connect them to the
So you don't
different
have to
pieces.
rip out the data.
Okay, so it's an object-oriented model. It's a relational model, but it's skinny. That's why I can just go and fly and do all this kind of stuff. Like even if I'm pulling huge reports right here, it's basically grab this. Go find all of my customers. Go see how many invoices they have. It's just adding some quick little sums, okay? Got 5 customers, go add up the sums, go add up what the totals are, go add up how much payments I have, figure out the math in the background. This is a calculation on the fly, okay? So we're virtually playing at spreadsheet level, but on this huge database application. So we do just-in-time calculations. Okay, that was fun. I don't know if it was fun for you guys, but I enjoyed it. So.
That was good.
That was great.
Love what you do.
Awesome.